Before we begin tonight's journey, take a moment to get comfortable. Settle into your favorite position. Allow your shoulders to relax. Let the muscles in your face soften. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for just a moment, and gently breathe out. Once again, breathe in, and breathe out. Feel the weight of the day slowly leaving your body. There is nowhere you need to be right now, nothing demanding your attention. For the next little while, simply listen. As the noise of the modern world begins to fade away, we are going to travel back more than 1,000 years into the past, to a world of icy seas, rugged mountains, dense forests, and long winters. A world where survival was never guaranteed. A world where comfort was rare. A world where every day required strength, patience, and hard work. Tonight, you are not reading about history. You are living it. Because tonight, you are a Viking. Your eyes slowly open. For a few moments, you stare into darkness. The first thing you notice is the cold. Not the kind of cold that greets you for a few seconds before you step back inside a heated home. This cold feels different. It is everywhere. It slips through cracks in the wooden walls. It settles inside your clothing. It wrenches your fingers and toes. And even before you fully wake up, you can already feel it. The second thing you notice is the smell. Smoke. The smell of a fire that burned throughout the night. Above you, dark wooden beams disappear into the shadows of the longhouse roof. For generations, smoke has stained these timbers black. The air is thick, but familiar. You have lived with it your entire life. Around you, other people are still asleep. A child quietly snores nearby. Someone coughs from across the room. A dog lifts its head before settling back down again. The longhouse is crowded. Much more crowded than any modern home. Entire families share this space together. Parents, children, grandparents, relatives. Everyone lives beneath the same roof. Privacy does not exist here. Silence is rare. And personal space is a luxury almost nobody enjoys. You slowly sit up. A wool blanket falls from your shoulders. The floor beneath your feet feels cold. Near the center of the longhouse, glowing embers still shine from last night's fire. Soon someone rises and places another piece of wood onto the coals. Tiny sparks rise into the air. The flames slowly return. A warm orange light spreads through the room. One by one, people begin waking. The day has started, and there is work to do. There's always work to do. Contrary to what many people imagine, most Vikings are not warriors. Most never become famous. Most never sail across oceans in search of glory. Most spend their lives farming, fishing, building, repairing, working from sunrise until sunset. Your survival depends on your labor. If you stop working, your family suffers. If your family suffers, winter becomes far more dangerous. Every task matters. Every day matters. A woman begins preparing breakfast near the fire. Soon the smell of warm porridge fills the room. It is a simple meal. Nothing fancy, nothing luxurious. Just enough food to prepare everyone for another difficult day. You accept a wooden bowl and sit quietly. Steam rises into the cold morning air. Around you, people eat without much conversation. Food is valuable. Nobody wastes it. A poor harvest can mean hunger. A terrible harvest can mean death. Everyone understands this. Every bite carries importance. After breakfast, preparations begin immediately. There is no time to relax. No morning entertainment. No comfortable routine. Outside, animals need attention. Fields require work. Repairs must be completed. The responsibilities of the village never end. You step toward the doorway. The wooden door opens. A blast of cold air strikes your face. Instantly, you feel more awake. Outside, dawn is beginning. The sky glows with shades of gray and pale blue. The sun has not fully appeared yet. But light is slowly spreading across the landscape. The sight is beautiful. Mountains rise in the distance. Forests cover the hills. A nearby fjord reflects the colors of the morning sky. Thin mist drifts across the water. For a moment, everything feels peaceful. Yet beneath that beauty lies constant danger. The natural world provides food, water, wood, and shelter. But it can also take those things away without warning. Storms can destroy crops. Floods can ruin farmland. Harsh winters can kill livestock. A single bad season can place an entire community at risk. As you walk through the village, signs of life appear everywhere. Smoke rises from rooftops. Farmers carry tools toward the fields. Children transport buckets of water. Women prepare supplies for the day. Blacksmiths begin heating their forges. Dogs run between buildings. Across the fields surrounding your village. The cold has not completely disappeared, but the warmth of physical labor has driven it from your body. Your hands are dirty. Your clothes are stained with soil. And your muscles already feel the strain of the day's work. Yet the day is still far from over. In the modern world, many people imagine Vikings as warriors who spent most of their lives sailing across the sea in search of treasure and glory. But the truth is very different. For most Vikings, life revolved around farming. Without successful farms, there would be no villages, no ships, no trade, no legendary expeditions. Everything depended on the land. And the land demanded constant attention. You grip a wooden tool and continue working alongside the other villagers. The soil here is not always easy to farm. In many places the ground is rocky. Large stones must be removed by hand. Roots must be cleared. Fields must be maintained year after year. Every harvest requires enormous effort. And even then, success is never guaranteed. A single storm can destroy months of work. A season of heavy rain can ruin crops. An early frost can wipe out food supplies before they are ready to harvest. Nature is both friend and enemy. The Vikings understand this better than anyone. You glance toward the mountains in the distance. Dark clouds have begun gathering above their peaks. The weather can change quickly here. One moment the sky is clear. The next, rain and wind sweep across the landscape. Everyone learns to respect nature, because nature cannot be controlled, only endured. Hours pass slowly. The repetitive rhythm of work fills the day. Digging, planting, repairing, carrying. The sound of tools striking the earth mixes with distant animal calls. Occasionally someone speaks, but most people conserve their energy. There is little need for conversation. Everyone already knows what must be done. Nearby, several children help gather loose stones from the fields. They are young, yet they already work hard. In Viking society, childhood is much shorter than it is today. Children begin helping their families from an early age. By the time they reach their teenage years, many are already performing tasks that modern adults might find exhausting. Life leaves little room for idleness. Everyone contributes. Everyone works. As midday approaches, you finally stop for a short meal. The break is brief. Food is simple. Perhaps some bread. Perhaps dried fish. Maybe a little cheese if supplies are good. Nothing is wasted. Every piece of food has value. Producing food requires too much effort to be careless. You sit on a large rock overlooking part of the village. From here you can see smoke rising from several rooftops. The fjord sparkles beneath the sunlight. For a few moments, the world seems calm, peaceful, almost timeless. Yet beneath that peaceful appearance lies a constant struggle. Every family worries about the coming winter, even during summer, especially during summer. Because summer is the season when preparations must be made, food must be gathered, animals must be cared for, supplies must be stored, firewood must be collected. Every decision made now may determine whether a family survives the colder months ahead. Winter in the Viking world is not merely uncomfortable, it can be deadly. Long periods of darkness, Freezing temperatures, heavy snow, limited food supplies. Entire communities depend upon careful planning. A mistake made during summer can become a tragedy during winter. Soon your short meal ends. Work begins again. This time you help repair part of a wooden fence surrounding a pasture. Several sheep graze nearby. Animals are among the most valuable possessions a family can own. They provide meat, milk, wool, and other resources necessary for survival. Protecting them is extremely important. A damaged fence may seem like a small problem, but small problems often become large disasters. If animals escape, if predators attack, if illness spreads through a herd, the consequences can be severe. As you work, you notice how much of Viking life revolves around preparation. Every task serves a purpose. Every effort protects the future. There is little room for laziness. The environment is too harsh. The risks are too great. Even simple repairs can make the difference between success and hardship. The afternoon slowly passes. The sun begins its gradual journey downward. Birds circle overhead. A cool breeze moves across the fields. In the distance, you hear the sound of axes striking wood. Others are gathering timber. Firewood is essential. Without it, surviving winter would be almost impossible. Every household must collect enormous amounts before the cold arrives. The work never truly ends. One task simply leads to another. As the hours continue, fatigue settles into your body. Your back aches. Your hands feel rough and sore. Your legs grow heavy. Yet nobody stops. The village depends upon everyone's effort, and everyone understands that responsibility. Eventually, the shadows begin growing longer. The golden light of evening spreads across the landscape. At last, the workday approaches its end. Tools are gathered. Animals are checked. Final tasks are completed. People slowly begin returning toward the village. The sight of home brings relief. Not because tomorrow will be easier. It won't. But because another day has been survived. As you walk back toward the longhouse, smoke rises into the evening sky. Children laugh nearby. Dogs run through the village paths. For a brief moment, life feels almost comfortable, almost secure. Yet deep down, everyone knows that danger is never far away. Storms, disease, hunger, accidents, all remain constant threats. And beyond the safety of the village lies something even more unpredictable. The sea, a place capable of bringing wealth, opportunity, and fame. But also, death. Soon, you may find yourself leaving the familiar land behind. Soon, you may step aboard a Viking longship. And once that journey begins, your life may never be the same again. But that is a story for the next part. The evening passes quietly. After a long day of work in the fields, the warmth of the longhouse feels comforting. The fire burns steadily at the center of the room. Its orange glow flickers across the wooden walls. People sit together sharing a simple meal. Some speak softly about the day's work. Others listen in silence. Children grow sleepy. Dogs curl up beside the fire. For a brief time, the worries of the world seem distant. But tomorrow will bring new challenges. And for you, those challenges may soon involve the sea. As darkness settles over the village, conversations begin turning toward an upcoming voyage. Several experienced sailors are preparing a longship. The vessel will leave within a few days. Its destination lies beyond the horizon. Perhaps a trading settlement. Perhaps a distant kingdom. Perhaps a place few people in the village have ever seen. No one knows exactly what awaits them. That uncertainty is part of life. The Viking world is connected by water. Rivers, lakes, fjords, and vast stretches of open ocean. Travel by sea is often faster than travel by land, but it is also far more dangerous. You listen carefully as older sailors describe previous journeys. Their stories are filled with storms, powerful winds, towering waves, and moments when survival seemed impossible. The sea demands respect. Anyone who forgets that lesson rarely lives long. The following morning arrives much like the one before. You wake to the smell of smoke and the sound of movement inside the longhouse. The cold air still slips through cracks in the walls. The fire still provides the only source of warmth. And another day begins. Yet today feels different. There is excitement in the village. People are busy preparing supplies for the coming voyage. Food must be gathered. Tools must be inspected. Ropes must be repaired. Everything must be ready before departure. Mistakes at sea can be fatal. You finish breakfast and head toward the shoreline. As you approach the water, the longship comes into view. Even from a distance, it is oppressive. Long, narrow, elegant, built with remarkable skill. The wooden hull rests near the shore, waiting for the journey ahead. Several craftsmen move around the vessel, carefully examining every detail. They check the planks, inspect the mast, test the ropes. Nothing is left to chance. The longship is more than transportation. It is survival itself. Far from land, the ship becomes your entire world. If it fails, there may be nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Only cold water stretching endlessly in every direction. You join a group carrying supplies toward the vessel. Heavy sacks of food are loaded aboard. Barrels of water follow. Fishing equipment is secured. Extra clothing is packed carefully. Every item serves a purpose. Space is limited. Only necessities can come along. As you work, you begin imagining life at sea. Unlike the comfort of the village, a ship offers little protection. There are no soft beds, no warm rooms, no private spaces. Crew members sleep wherever they can find room, often exposed to cold winds and damp conditions. Comfort is sacrificed for survival. By midday, preparations continue under a bright sky. The weather appears calm, but experienced sailors know better than to trust appearances. The sea can change quickly. A peaceful morning can become a nightmare before sunset. Dark clouds can appear without warning. Strong winds can arrive suddenly. And once a storm begins, there is often little anyone can do except... One older sailor points toward the horizon. He tells stories of waves taller than houses, of ships disappearing into thick fog, of men swept overboard and never seen again. No dramatic music accompanies these stories, no heroic speeches, only simple facts. The sea is dangerous. Everyone understands that. As the afternoon passes, more villagers gather near the shoreline. Some are curious. Others are saying goodbye to family members who will soon depart. A voyage is never guaranteed to end safely. People know this. Every farewell carries uncertainty. A sailor leaving today may return months later, or never return at all. You notice a woman embracing her husband. Nearby, children cling to their father's arm. No one speaks about fear directly, but it is there, quietly hidden beneath smiles and hopeful words. Because everyone understands the risks. The Viking world rewards courage, but courage does not eliminate danger. As evening approaches, the preparations finally begin slowing down. The longship is nearly ready. Its supplies are loaded. Its equipment is secured. Soon it will leave the safety of the fjord and enter open water. The thought sends a chill through you, not because of the cold, but because of the unknown. The sea remains mysterious. Beyond the horizon lies a world few people truly understand. There are distant lands, foreign cultures, new opportunities, yet there are also storms, shipwrecks, disease, and countless dangers waiting to be encountered. That night, as darkness settles across the village once more, you lie awake longer than usual. The sounds of the longhouse surround you, the crackling fire, the soft breathing of sleeping families, the occasional movement of a restless dog. Normally these sounds feel comforting. Tonight they feel different, because soon you may leave them behind. You stare toward the ceiling, thinking about the journey ahead, wondering what waits beyond the horizon, wondering whether you will return. Outside, the wind moves gently across the fjord. The water reflects the moonlight. Everything appears peaceful, calm, almost welcoming. But appearances can be deceiving. The sea has tested countless sailors before you, and it will test countless more after you. Tomorrow preparations will continue. Soon after that, the voyage will begin. And once the shoreline disappears from view, there will be no turning back, only endless water, endless sky, and the uncertain promise of whatever lies ahead. But that is a story for the next part. Morning arrives beneath a sky covered with thin gray clouds. The village is already awake. Smoke rises from the rooftops. People move quietly between the buildings. There's a feeling in the air that is different from ordinary days. Today is departure day. The longship is ready. The supplies have been loaded. The crew has gathered. And soon, the familiar shoreline of your home will begin to disappear behind you. You eat breakfast slowly. The simple meal tastes no different than usual, yet everything feels different. The longhouse that has sheltered you for years suddenly feels more important. The warm fire, the wooden walls, the familiar voices of family and friends. Things that often go unnoticed now seem precious, because you know you may not see them again for a very long time. Outside, the village gathers near the shore. Children stand beside their parents. Elders watch silently. Dogs run between groups of people. The longship waits patiently in the water. Its curved wooden hull reflects the pale morning light. From a distance, it almost appears graceful, but everyone knows that beauty alone will not keep a ship afloat. Skill, preparation, and luck will matter far more. As you approach the shoreline, final goodbyes begin. Some people embrace. Others exchange a few quiet words. Many simply nod. In a world where danger is common, people learn to value simple moments. No one can predict the future. No one can promise a safe return. The sea makes no such guarantees. Soon, the order is given. It is time to board. You step carefully into the longship. The wooden deck shifts slightly beneath your weight. Around you, other crew members find their places. Supplies are checked one final time. Ropes are tightened. The sail is prepared. A cool wind drifts across the fjord. For a moment, everything becomes quiet. Then the ship begins to move. Slowly at first. The shoreline starts drifting away. The village becomes smaller. The people gathered on the shore become tiny figures. You watch them for as long as possible. Eventually, distance turns them into little more than shadows. Then even those shadows disappear. Ahead lies only water. The realization feels strange. For the first time, there is no easy path home, no familiar road, no nearby shelter, only the ship and the sea. The fjord stretches before you like a giant mirror. The water is calm. Gentle waves tap against the hull. Seabirds circle overhead. Everything seems peaceful. Yet experienced sailors remain alert. They understand how quickly conditions can change. A calm sea is never a promise. It is merely a moment. As the hours pass, the ship leaves the shelter of the fjord. Open water begins to surround you. The coastline grows distant. Mountains fade into the horizon. The world suddenly feels much larger than before. The sea stretches endlessly in every direction. Blue water below, blue sky above, nothing else. For some people, the sight is exciting. For others, it is unsettling. The vastness of the ocean has a way of making human beings feel very small. Throughout the day, the crew remains busy. Some adjust ropes, others monitor the sail. Everyone has responsibilities. Life aboard a Viking ship leaves little room for laziness. A single mistake can place everyone at risk. You quickly learn that sailing requires constant attention. The wind shifts. The waves change. The weather evolves hour by hour. Every decision matters. As afternoon approaches, dark clouds begin gathering in the distance. At first, they seem harmless. Just another patch of weather far away. But experienced sailors notice them immediately. Their expressions grow serious. The sea has taught them many lessons. One of those lessons is never to ignore warning signs. The wind strengthens. The temperature drops. The calm surface of the water begins to change. Small waves become larger. The ship starts rising and falling more noticeably. Nothing dangerous yet, but enough to remind everyone that conditions are changing. The crew moves with greater urgency. Equipment is secured. Loose items are tied down. Preparations begin long before the storm arrives, because waiting until danger appears is often too late. Soon, the first drops of rain fall from the sky. The clouds overhead darken. The sunlight disappears. The ocean transforms. What looked peaceful only hours ago now appears cold and threatening. The wind whistles across the water. The sail snaps loudly. The ship creaks as waves strike its wooden hull. You grip the side of the vessel. Your heart beats faster. This is no longer the calm fjord you left behind. This is the open sea. And the open sea follows its own rules. Rain becomes heavier. Visibility decreases. The horizon disappears behind a curtain of gray water. Everything feels uncertain. The ship rises sharply, then drops again. Your stomach twists. Several crew members look uncomfortable. One sailor leans over the side of the vessel. Seasickness is common. The ocean does not care how strong someone may be on land. At sea, everyone becomes vulnerable. Hours seem to pass slowly. The storm never reaches its full fury, but it does not need to. Even a moderate storm is enough to remind everyone of their place in the world. Human beings may build ships. They may cross oceans. They may achieve remarkable things. Yet they remain tiny compared to the forces of nature. Eventually, the rain begins to weaken. The wind slowly loses strength. The waves become smaller. The storm drifts away into the distance. A sense of relief spreads across the crew. No cheers, no celebration, just quiet gratitude. The sea has allowed you to continue. For now, as evening approaches, clouds begin breaking apart. Small patches of sunlight return. Golden light reflects across the water. The ocean once again appears calm, almost peaceful. Yet nobody aboard forgets what happened. The storm was a warning, a reminder. The sea can change at any moment, and next time, the outcome may not be so gentle. As darkness slowly approaches, you look toward the endless horizon. There is still no land in sight, only water, only sky, and the growing realization that your journey has truly begun. Tomorrow, the ship will continue deeper into unfamiliar waters, farther from home, farther from safety, and closer to whatever fate awaits beyond the horizon. But that is a story for the next part. The storm has passed, but its memory remains. As morning arrives, you wake beneath a sky that seems impossibly large. There are no mountains on the horizon, no forests, no villages, no sign of home, only water stretching endlessly in every direction. The sea is calm once again. Gentle waves roll beneath the ship. The sail catches a steady wind, and the long ship continues its journey across the open ocean. For a moment, everything feels peaceful. The sunlight reflects across the water like scattered pieces of silver. Seabirds occasionally glide overhead. The air smells clean and fresh. If someone had never experienced the dangers of the sea, they might believe this place was beautiful beyond compare. And it is beautiful, but beauty and danger often live side by side. As the hours pass, the reality of life aboard the ship becomes clearer. Space is limited. Comfort is almost non-existent. There are no private rooms, no comfortable beds, no warm shelters waiting nearby. Every sailor shares the same small world. The wooden deck beneath your feet, the sail above your head, and the endless sea surrounding you. Food is carefully rationed. Every meal must last as long as possible. You eat dried fish, simple bread, perhaps a small amount of preserved meat. Nothing luxurious, nothing excessive. Fresh food becomes increasingly rare the farther you travel from land. Water is even more valuable. Every drop matters. No one wastes it. No one dares. Because once supplies run low, survival becomes much more difficult. As midday approaches, the sun climbs higher into the sky. Its warmth feels pleasant at first, but hours later, the constant exposure becomes exhausting. There is little shade aboard the ship. The sun beats down upon the crew. The reflection from the water makes the light seem even brighter. You find yourself longing for the forests and fields of home. Even the hard labor of farm life suddenly feels comforting compared to the uncertainty of the ocean. At least on land, the ground remains beneath your feet. Out here, everything moves. The ship rocks gently. The horizon shifts endlessly. Nothing feels completely stable. The human body is not meant for life at sea. And after several days aboard the vessel, you begin to understand why. Fatigue settles into your muscles. Sleep becomes difficult. Every creak of wood seems louder during the night. Every movement of the waves reminds you that the ocean never truly rests. The sea is always moving, always changing, always alive. As afternoon approaches, a thick fog begins appearing on the horizon. At first, it seems harmless. Just another weather pattern drifting across the water, but soon it grows larger, closer, denser. Within hours, the fog surrounds the ship completely. The transformation is unsettling. The world begins disappearing. The horizon vanishes. The sky fades into pale gray. Even the ocean seems to blend into the mist. Visibility becomes extremely limited. You can no longer see great distances. Everything feels smaller, more isolated, more uncertain. The crew becomes quieter. Fog creates a different kind of fear than storms. A storm announces itself with wind and rain. Fog arrives silently. It hides dangers. It conceals obstacles. It makes navigation difficult. In some ways, it is even more unsettling. The longship continues forward, but now it feels as though it is drifting through an endless white void. Time becomes difficult to measure. Minutes feel longer. Hours seem strange. The world beyond the ship has disappeared. Only the vessel remains, and for the first time you truly understand how isolated you are. If disaster struck now, help would not come. There are no rescue ships, no emergency signals, no nearby harbors, only the crew and their ability to survive together. As evening approaches, the fog finally begins to thin. Slowly, shapes return to the world. The ocean becomes visible again. The horizon reappears. The sky opens above you. Relief spreads across the crew. The familiar sight of open water feels strangely comforting, yet the fog has left its mark. It has reminded everyone how quickly certainty can vanish. The sea never stops testing those who travel across it, sometimes through storms, sometimes through isolation, sometimes through fear itself. As darkness approaches, several sailors gather together and share stories. Stories of voyages long ago, stories of distant lands, stories of ships that vanished without explanation. Some speak of strange lights seen across the water. Others tell tales of enormous waves that appeared without warning. Whether every story is true hardly matters. The ocean encourages imagination. Its vastness leaves room for mystery, and mystery often becomes legend. You listen quietly while staring across the darkening sea. The sunset paints the horizon with shades of orange and gold. For a brief moment, the ocean appears calm and gentle, almost welcoming. But you know better now. You have spent enough time on the water to understand its true nature. The sea offers no promises, no guarantees, only opportunities and risks. Every sunrise is a gift. Every safe day is a victory. As night settles over the ship, stars begin appearing overhead. Far from the lights of any settlement, the sky seems brighter than you have ever seen. Thousands of stars stretch across the heavens. The sight is breathtaking. Ancient sailors often relied upon these stars to guide their journeys. Long before modern maps and instruments, the night sky served as their compass. You lie back and stare upward. The ship moves gently beneath you. The night passes slowly. Above you, countless stars shine across the dark sky. The ship moves steadily through the calm waters. The gentle sound of waves against the wooden hull creates a rhythm that never seems to end. Many of the crew sleep lightly. Others remain awake, watching the horizon. Out here, far from home, caution never truly disappears, even during peaceful nights, even beneath clear skies. Eventually, darkness begins to fade. A pale gray light appears in the east. Morning is coming. The stars slowly disappear one by one. The sea reflects the growing light. And another day begins upon the open ocean. You sit up and stretch your stiff muscles. The wooden deck is not a comfortable place to sleep. Your back aches. Your shoulders feel heavy. And yet, compared to the dangers of the sea, such discomfort seems insignificant. The crew begins preparing for the day. Food is shared. Equipment is checked. The sail is adjusted to match the changing wind. Everything follows a familiar routine. a routine built through experience, because experience keeps sailors alive. The sea rarely forgives mistakes. Hours pass. The ship continues moving forward. Water stretches endlessly in every direction. At least, that is what you expect. Then something changes. One sailor suddenly stands. His eyes narrow. He stares toward the horizon. At first, nobody else notices. Then another sailor looks. And another. A quiet excitement begins spreading through the crew. You rise to your feet and look into the distance. At first, you see nothing unusual, only the meeting point between sky and sea. Then slowly, a shape begins to emerge. Dark, faint, barely visible. Land. After days surrounded by nothing but water, the sight feels almost unreal. The distant coastline grows clearer as the hours pass. Small hills become visible, then forests, then rocky cliffs rising above the ocean. The crew seems energized. Even the most experienced sailors smile. No matter how many voyages they have completed, the first sight of land always brings relief. Land means fresh water, fresh food, solid ground beneath your feet. But it does not always mean safety. Many dangers can still wait on shore. As the ship moves closer, details begin appearing. The coastline is rugged and wild. Large rocks stand against the crashing waves. Dense forests stretch inland. Smoke rises from somewhere in the distance, a sign that people live here. The realization changes the mood aboard the ship. Until now, the greatest challenge has been nature, the sea, the weather, the uncertainty of the journey. Soon, however, you may encounter something far less predictable: other human beings. And human beings can often be more dangerous than storms. The ship follows the coastline carefully. Nobody rushes. The crew studies the land, searching for safe places to approach, searching for signs of danger. Experience has taught them patience. A careless landing can lead to disaster. Eventually, a suitable location is chosen. The water grows shallower. The ship slows. Crew members prepare for arrival. Your heart beats faster. For days, the ocean has been your entire world. Now that world is changing once again. The bottom of the ship gently scrapes against the shore. The voyage is over, at least for now. Several sailors immediately jump into the shallow water and begin securing the vessel. Others carry supplies. Some remain alert, scanning the surrounding landscape. Nobody assumes safety. Not yet. You step onto solid ground. The sensation feels strange. For a moment, your legs struggle to adjust. After spending so much time at sea, the earth itself feels unfamiliar. The land beneath your feet no longer moves, yet your body still expects it to. Slowly, the feeling fades. Around you, the crew begins exploring the area. Fresh water must be located. Food supplies may need replenishing. Information about the region must be gathered. Every successful journey depends on preparation. The coastline is beautiful. Tall trees sway in the breeze. Birds call from the forest. The scent of earth and vegetation replaces the smell of salt water. After days aboard the ship, the change feels refreshing. Yet beneath the beauty lies uncertainty. This is not your home. You do not know these forests. You do not know the people who live here. Every sound seems important. Every movement catches your attention. As the afternoon continues, small groups spread out to explore nearby areas. You join one of them. The forest quickly surrounds you. Sunlight filters through the branches above. The air feels cooler beneath the trees. Everywhere you look, nature appears untouched. Wild, ancient, powerful. The deeper you travel, the more isolated you feel. Back in your village, every path is familiar. Every landmark is known. Here, everything is different. Every step carries uncertainty. Every landmark is known. Here, everything is different. Every step carries uncertainty. Hours later, signs of human activity begin appearing. A worn trail, cut tree stumps, the remains of an old fire. Someone has been here recently, perhaps many people. The realization creates tension. The group slows. Voices become quieter. Eyes scan the surroundings more carefully. Because history has taught Vikings an important lesson. Not every stranger is friendly. Not every encounter ends peacefully. As evening approaches, the explorers return to the ship. Everyone shares what they discovered. Some found fresh water. Others found evidence of settlements farther inland. Information is valuable, sometimes more valuable than silver. The crew gathers around a small fire near the shoreline. Food is prepared. Stories are exchanged. The atmosphere feels calm. Yet beneath the surface, everyone understands that tomorrow may bring new challenges. The sea is behind you, for now. But the unknown world ahead may prove just as dangerous. Because beyond these forests lie people with their own ambitions, their own fears, and their own reasons to distrust strangers arriving from across the ocean. The real test of your journey may only be beginning, and that is where our story will continue in the next part. The fire burns low as night settles over the unfamiliar coastline. Above you, the stars shine brightly once again. The longship rests safely on the shore. The crew sits together, speaking quietly about what tomorrow might bring. Beyond the circle of firelight, darkness covers the forest. The trees stand silent, motionless, watching. At least that is how it feels. You pull your cloak tighter around your shoulders and stare into the flames. The sea is behind you now. For days, it was your greatest concern. The storms, the fog, the endless uncertainty of the ocean. But now another challenge waits ahead. The unknown land beyond the shoreline. Eventually, exhaustion wins. One by one, the sailors settle down for the night. Some sleep near the fire. Others remain awake to keep watch. Out here, caution is a necessity, not a choice. You close your eyes. The sound of distant waves reaches your ears. The smell of smoke drifts through the cool air, and slowly, sleep arrives. Morning comes with the cries of seabirds. The first rays of sunlight break across the horizon. The camp quickly comes to life. Breakfast is simple and brief. There is work to be done. Exploration to continue. Questions to answer. The crew gathers together. Plans are discussed. Small groups will travel inland. They will search for settlements, learn about the region, and determine whether this land offers opportunity or danger. You join one of the groups. Soon the shoreline disappears behind you. The forest closes around the narrow trail ahead. Sunlight filters through the leaves overhead. Birds call from hidden branches. The air smells of pine, damp earth, and growing plants. For a moment, everything seems peaceful, but nobody allows themselves to relax completely. The unknown demands respect. Every snapped branch catches attention. Every unusual sound causes heads to turn. The forest is beautiful, yet beauty can be deceptive. Hours pass as the group moves deeper inland. The terrain becomes more difficult. Steep hills rise ahead. Roots twist across the ground. Thick vegetation slows your progress. Traveling here requires patience and energy. By midday, everyone feels the strain. The journey through unfamiliar wilderness is far more exhausting than it first appeared. Still, the group continues, because turning back without information would be considered a failure. And information is one of the most valuable resources in the Viking world. Eventually, something changes. One of the scouts raises a hand. The group stops immediately. Silence spreads. Everyone listens. At first, you hear only the wind moving through the trees. Then another sound becomes noticeable. Voices. Faint, distant, human voices. The discovery sends a ripple of tension through the group. The explorers exchange careful glances. You're not alone here. Someone lives nearby. Slowly and quietly, the group moves forward. No one speaks above a whisper. No one wants to reveal their presence too soon. As you approach, signs of civilization begin appearing. A wooden fence, fresh footprints in the soil, fields cleared among the trees, and then finally, the settlement itself. It is small, far smaller than many Viking villages, a collection of simple buildings surrounded by farmland. Smoke rises from several rooftops. People move about their daily routines. Children run between houses. Farmers work in nearby fields. The sight feels strangely familiar. Despite the distance from home, these people are living lives not so different from your own. They wake each morning.